first was introduced to the stuttering community in 1998, one of the first people I met who inspired me was, well, one of the workshops I first went to was Mary Wood, and the person who was running the workshop was Jeff Shames. One of the first people I met who inspired me so much was Jeff Shames. And Jeff Shames,
cool people,
created a wonderful documentary that we're going to see next. Is that it, Jeff?
We'll see part of the documentary. Yes.
Part of it called "Spit It Out."
Thank you, Lucy Reed. Thank you, Tom and Marvin and the World Stuttering Network. It's good to be here. Good to see you all. So yes, I'll talk for a few minutes about "Spit It Out," and then I'll show an excerpt from it, and then we'll have more time to talk and maybe for questions. So Stutter Step began actually in the mid-90s as a film called Stutter Step. I worked on it for some years, and I met a gentleman from the stuttering community in New York City where I live, named Jonathan Skurnick, who became the director and cinematographer. So it became a joint effort. And Jonathan didn't stutter, but he was still very helpful in this process, as was my wife Elisa, who also doesn't stutter, but also is a part of my story. So the film took 9 years to make. It was finished in 2004, and it was shown in universities, in film festivals. It won awards at two film festivals. Ironically, both were disability film festivals, and it was out on the world. And I think I will stop there, and I will endeavor to share my screen and show about 15 or 20 minutes of the film. Then we'll have more time to talk and I can answer questions. So. Okay. Yes. The top of the puddle, which I washed, I took out the small ones. Oh Lordy, here we go. The Sergeant Life Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson, I should have said. It's a wonderful poem. Very, very sad. Happily onward. Turn to the right of them. Turn to the left of them. And in front of them. Volleyed and thundered. Stormed that were shot and shelled. Boldly they rode and well. Into the jaws of death. Into the mouth of hell. Rode the 600. Jesus Christ. There was a Greek man named Demosthenes. Demosthenes. Thousands of years ago, put pebbles in his mouth and yelled at the ocean to cure or to deal with his stuttering. And I want to try it out. I mean, people will try anything. It's like when people say, if you don't stutter when you sing, one should always sing. One cannot go through life singing all the time or with pebbles in one's mouth. That's enough. I'd rather stutter. later. See ya. Corduroy pants. Thank you. My name is Jeff Shames. I work at a nonprofit housing agency in New York City as a community liaison. Hi, this is Jeff. Is Jan there yet? I used to think I couldn't do work like this because of the way I talk. The rent's listed, I'm at 47 a month. You see, ever since I first began to speak, I've stuttered. Party with his parents were in Florida or somewhere. And I've asked the landlord twice for a breakdown. He had said orally that the rent was like 1,800, which is like 9 months of rent, or 8 months. My earliest memory of stuttering is from kindergarten during show and tell. I brought a picture of a brightly colored fish to show to my classmates. I remember standing there, staring at the back wall, trying to speak, but nothing came out.
Well, you started to stutter sometime the year that you were in kindergarten, and it was very slow and almost imperceptible at first. So we tended to ignore it, but it was continuing and became much worse when you were first learning.
I'm in the living room, trying to talk to my dad. After stumbling over the words again and again, my father yelled, "Come on, Jeff, spit it out." There must be something wrong with me.
Well, I think his attitude was that his son could not be anything less than perfect. So cute and so adorable and so smart and so much fun. Not to be small.
Yeah, and it was always fix the problem, fix the trouble you're causing. Trying to just find the quickest, fastest way to address what the problem appeared to be from the outside.
Well, Dad had this way of making you feel like whatever you were doing was not enough. As you continued to stutter, and you were in grade school for a time, you spoke to your teacher about our concern, and the teacher recommended a speech therapist at the school. You began to see him with some regularity. Your father didn't think it was important that you do that.
I remember the room very, very clearly. A small room, a table and 4 chairs, and dark, no windows. While the other kids remained in the classroom, I had to sit alone with a speech therapist and learn these techniques. Prolonging. Counting. SHAMES. Circumlocution or word substitution. I'm Joe Shames. Airflow. I'm at the command box with my family. I want to order lobster tails. As the waiter takes orders from each member of my family, I feel increasingly anxious about stuttering on the word lobster. My little sister Erica orders fish cakes and spaghetti, which we have at home all the time. I'm next. I fluck on the L sound for what seems like an eternity.
My mother and sister look away in embarrassment. My father stares at me with total disdain. I felt humiliated. Why can't I say the word lobster? Finally, I just say the same and get fish cakes and spaghetti like my sister. I only eat spaghetti.
Don't have no one to talk to me at school because everyone talks to us.
I know.
So, and they make fun of me, and then I just walk away.
When I was growing up, stuttering to me was a big deal, and now, I mean, it's I don't like it, but I can say that it's not a big deal either. I stutter, I don't stutter, whatever. It's okay.
I started, I thought we were getting you because I don't study so you. Wow, he stutters more than me. Wow, I'm sorry everybody can't see it. How about I make fun of you? That was so easy. People who have a stuttering problem, I'm sitting here telling Anthony that he thinks he's dead because he doesn't stutter as much as me.
So Anthony, you're going to talk to him about that?
Maybe I didn't know. So, how about you and you're Anthony, and then
Well, that's one solution. What you think David would learn from that? You think that he's going to be hurt the way that you're feeling or hurt?
Makes fun of you. The way you can crap out of him. I didn't. So what I do? What is this? That his fat, his stomach is over his hands.
I can tell you're very angry, aren't you?
Stick that in there. Everybody, put your sea monster inside of it. Jam it in. Sea monster. Everybody, jam it in.
My turn.
Jam it in.
Excuse me.
Since we're spending the 6 months off like the other states, we need to show them who is the boss of our talking, okay?
That's your 10. Give me 9. 8. And this is a 7. This is 6. This is 5. This is 4. 3. This is you. 1.
Hi. Can you hear me? Again, anyway, that's the first part of Spit It Out. So the title changed from StutterFest to Spit It Out, and also over time, I began making this film when I've been in the stuttering world for probably 3, 4, 5 years, and I first pictured myself being behind the camera and helping to explain, to help other people who didn't stutter understand what it's like to be a person who stutters. And gradually over time, it became a much more personal film about stuttering, but also about family issues, marriage, addiction, my professional life, and so forth. I'll say too, I mean, in terms of me and stuttering, it also, the process of making this film, it did take 9 years, helped me open up about about stuttering. As you saw, that I entered the nonprofit field, and after the film was finished, I went back to work and got my master's degree in social work, and I'm working as a clinical social worker. So a lot of things happen through my meeting people in the stuttering world, but also with the film. So any questions or comments, or I could keep talking. Okay, so with this film, I was working on it while also I was in the working world, and we were shooting footage sporadically, and I was doing workshops at conferences for people who stutter, where I would show excerpts from the film and talk about the film and the film's evolution, my evolution, and so forth, and that helped too. So over time, the film developed, and as I said earlier, having Jonathan, who is an experienced documentary filmmaker, really helped. And also in terms of my of my family, helped me work through and understand my family issues. I mean, in this part of the film that you saw, there's a lot about my father and how difficult it was in terms of his being critical of my stuttering, but it was also more complicated than that. My mother had stuttered in childhood, and I had known that from childhood, from my early childhood, but it was not a topic that we had ever talked about. And my interviewing her for this film helped us, begin to get into this topic. And it did help at the time, but only went so far. There were also her older brother had stuttered, and we began to talk about it more. So it did help. So I'm not sure what else to talk about. I guess I could show more of the film if we do have a few more minutes of this workshop. Yes. Lucy?
Jeff, so did I hear you say that your mother was someone who stuttered?
Yes, she stuttered in her childhood, and I thank you for reminding me, because I should have said, her father was a very difficult person, and and my mother had stuttered in childhood, and the story was that she had stopped stuttering as soon as she left home for college. So as you can imagine, when I left home for college, I wondered, but no, I knew she had, and that was part of the shame I felt. I know there was talk earlier about the difficulty of transferring, as you all know, transferring what you learn and gain in the stuttering in the therapy room versus going back to your real world life, and that being difficult. And I had therapy a number of times and kept stuttering and felt shame about that. The fact that my stuttering didn't magically go away when I left for college. I mean, I knew it wouldn't, but still, it was just a pylon, I guess. But yes.
Mm-hmm. Did
and it's
you
probably tougher. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, go on.
Well, no, I think it's tougher when it's a part of the family. There were probably 3 or 4 or 5 people who stuttered in the family and it was not talked about. And it was also a different time in the world, in all fairness.
Yeah. So did she make comments to you like about that?
No, but she didn't have to make comments.
Okay.
I've done some memoir writing, and I know one term that I came up with was about her reaction was silent scorn. So words were not needed.
Okay. Because my mother stuttered, and so she told me that she stopped stuttering when she got married, but she was a covert stutterer. She thought she was hiding it, but she didn't. I could tell. But so she, there was, so I learned, I picked up all of my shame from her, but she tried telling me she didn't stutter anymore. But I could always tell that she did. She was just hiding it, It was a whole toxic thing.
Right, and there too, because she told you she had stopped stuttering, it was never a topic you could bring up.
Yeah. I mean, from when I was like 3, she would, answer the phone, stomping her foot, stomp, stomp, stomp. Hello. But yet she was telling me, oh, well, I used to stutter, but I don't stutter anymore, Anyway. I was just wondering.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. No, and you hear that from people. I used to stutter, but also hear, well, my cousin used to stutter, but when he began doing somersaults, it cured them, or whatever it is, whatever the cure is. So this was a difficult process with the film because I did need to open up about it being a more personal film, but in the end, I was open to doing so, and it did, and I've seen over time how people have been helped by watching the film. And now, I mean, it was a long time ago now, but it's good to see the film again. So we have a few more minutes. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Yes, Steph?
I was just gonna hi. Good to see you again. I was just gonna say thank you for your hard work and for sharing your story and your family's story. And films are a lot of work, and the fact that it took you 9 years and you stuck with it, and that's just really honoring it to our community. And so I'm thankful for your work and for sharing it with us.
Thank you.